What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Diablo Immortal video, and today I'm here talking with Nighttime. You guys know him. He's been on the channel many times before. He's our resident whale, as we call him inside of the game, from the Oceanic server, and he's been on many times before talking about different elements of the game. But today he's here to talk to us about some things that are going on over on his server that are impacting battlegrounds and PvP inside the game in a negative way, which is actually keeping people from spending inside of the game, which is hurting Blizzard, hurting the game overall. So, Nighttime, thanks for coming to the channel today, man. I appreciate it. What's going on over there in the Oceanic server?
Hey man, well first I'm happy to be here, and second, well, I'm just kind of disappointed that this whole speed hack thing's still even going on. That's what it is though. It's not so much our server as since we were merged with the Korean server for Battlegrounds. Literally all of their whales are just running around at super speed, and they all look like I'm gonna say a purple hedgehog this time because I don't want to, go with copyright. So
So take a second and fill everyone in on what the speed hack is. I never actually covered it here on the channel, but I know that Habanis covered it over on his channel. I will find that video and link it in the description if you want to see it in action as well. But give people an explanation of what's being done. Not too deep of an explanation, obviously, but let people know what's happening and how it's negatively impacting PvP.
So essentially, as far as I understand, this game is stored locally, which, they would have to rebuild it to fix this. So they can change the modifiers of games, like your frame rate would impact how fast things were, and other things like that. So what this does is essentially cheats that system and makes you run super fast, and then you can't be targeted because of the latency issue. Which is the whole issue in the battleground, because it's like, oh, you can't hit this guy now. So he's running too fast.
So essentially, I mean, typically the way that we talk about battlegrounds and things like that is, obviously there's a big skill element there. Better players are going to do better, but also resonance comes into play as well. But now, even if you have the skill and the resonance and the solid build to be successful,
Here's a perfect example of something that happened to me. This is how it works. There was a crusader on foot. He then went on horse later, but I was running with him. He was on my team. He was on foot. He was outrunning me in my wraith form in my move speed stance.
Wow.
So
Necromancer, for those of you that don't know.
Walking faster. And it's like, that's ridiculous to me. Then he got on his horse and he took off like a jet. So it was ridiculous.
No, but I think the biggest thing that you were talking about there is it's not only a speed increase, but it's the inability for your character to target. So you essentially can't put any damage on him.
Yeah, you just can't hit him, and it's like, well, what do I do now? Why am I even bothering?
All right, so how has this impacted you specifically? We have the new rolling consequence gem that came into the game. How did this impact you? Someone that typically will spend good money. Yeah.
I wanted to spend so much on that, but I refuse to spend until this is fixed, because honestly, I don't trust them to fix this. Here's the thing, let's say they have a small team on this, which they should not. First off, this is not a developer issue. This is a company issue, more so, and they're a better company than this. That's why I'm very confused about any of this happening, to be honest. But it's a small, let's say it's a small team, which second highest earning game, small team, not a smart move.
Yeah, that is a good point that you're bringing up right there. This is the second highest earning. I didn't even realize. I actually have to dive into those stats and find that information to share with everyone.
And it's like, you should have a bigger team on that. And that would take 5 to maybe 12 days with a large team. It'll take 5 to 6 months with a small team. With the skeleton crew, it could take several years to fix this, because that's how you would have to rebuild it. So the thing is, the length of time it'll take to fix is all dependent on how much company help they get. It's not a developer issue. It's not something they can fix. So please don't blame developers for this, because it's not their fault and they get enough garbage, in all honesty.
Yeah, so he's saying that it's not actually the people that are developing the team, it's that the team isn't big enough to address this issue in a timely enough manner because the team's just not big enough. That's essentially what you're getting at?
Yes, but I guess they tried to do something to fix it this patch, it seems like, because it was fixed for about 12 hours, and then it
Oh.
wasn't, which means it's still locally
Hmm.
stored, and that's the whole issue, and there's no way to fix this without rebuilding it. So the thing is, I'll just give you a flat number. I wanted to spend like $10,000 on this gem and just get a 5-star, max it out, and I was going
Just
to,
10 grand.
but I didn't. I spent probably $100 just the auxiliary one,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all I plan on spending. And it's because I don't trust them to fix it. It's plain and simple. It's like I don't know if the game's gonna be here,
Yeah.
and this has killed our competition entirely. Like people don't want to play. We had, from what I understand, the only working Immortal Shadow cycle where it was one side with a variably equally strength team. Because I know people are gonna argue either way,
Of course. Yeah.
but either way, it was competitive and it was happening. It was fun. It was enjoyable. This hack has killed that for our entire community, and it's just nobody wants to do anything anymore with it, and it completely ruined the game for so many people.
Yeah, and what he's talking about here is specifically people that are invested in this game for PvP reasons. This isn't something that a lot of casual players would be experiencing any PvE type stuff. It's just a PvP focused thing, which I don't know what percentage of players that play the game are actually, diehard PvPers. That's another thing that would be really
Well,
interesting to see.
at this point, it's mostly like 300 people wanting a cape on both sides. So,
What do you mean by why one in a cape?
well, because the Immortals now you get a cape, a
Yep.
permanent cape that you get to wear. So, well, I could show you, but
But yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I know that a lot of people watching probably don't even know what the cape is because it's something that they haven't seen or experienced inside of the game, to be honest. So what's your thought here? I mean, obviously this is you saying from your community that you'd love to see something like this be fixed as soon as
well,
possible.
this
So
this has to be fixed. Otherwise, the game's dead here, and they just lost millions of dollars. So that's just straight up what it is.
and
It's
in
not.
so I'm not a person that knows anything about coding or doing anything like that, but in your opinion, and I don't know that you are either,
I
they need to
have
rebuild.
a semi limited knowledge. I'm an electrical engineer and I
Hmm.
specialize in logic computers. So I have to that extent of knowledge. I do not have like an expert degree on all coding, you know?
Hmm.
So, but from what I understand, um this is just what they need to do. Like it needs to be rebuilt from the ground up because you can't store that locally. That needs to be stored on something like a database
So that people can't
offsite.
tamper with it,
Yes, so
essentially.
you can't be tampered with. Exactly.
Got it. Well, I'm really curious to see who else is seeing this. I did watch Abanis's video. It's not. I'm not a huge Battlegrounds guy myself. I keep
It,
saying that I want to dive more into it, but I'm curious to see how many people are actually experiencing this. Is it actually only at like the high end of Battlegrounds, or is
I
this even
have
happening at the lower ends as well?
I have no clue. I just know like our entire community, low end, high end, like the entire community here is fed up with it because we can't get in a match. Well, some people can, but the majority cannot get in a match without somebody running at the speed of sound.
Yeah. No, the frustration I completely get, and it makes sense that if you're unable to compete no matter what gems or what level of gems you put onto your account, what you spend on, if that's not going to be helpful to you because of the hack, makes sense that it's going to keep people from actually making that spend, which is a problem and completely makes
Yeah,
sense.
I
So,
mean, it's just I'm not trying to be a jerk towards Blizzard because I do still think they're a very smart company and they're a great company overall. It's just like I don't understand this and I'm clearly missing something. So
yeah, well, that's the point of this video. This is a great way to get that voice out there so that it can be heard and known that communities are struggling with it and they want it fixed because they love the game and essentially want it to live on. I know that's why you're here. I know that you're not someone that's just here, to crap on Diablo Immortal, that you really want
yes.
the game to succeed because you love it.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I love the community more than I love the game to be honest, but
Hmm.
that's kind of the way it goes. And well, I want to say, like I always do, if anybody needs to talk, I'm on a bail on Oceania. You can just come probably say something in world chat. Somebody will point you to me, I'm sure.
He's always sharing his ability to chat with you guys if you're there. Every single video. I appreciate that. You know, another thing that I appreciate, you just dropped me a gift in my Blizz account, man, and he threw me a
Hey,
hefty couple of bucks to put towards my
well,
account, and I appreciate it, man. You didn't have to
I
do that.
I tried to do it at Christmas, but I realized you were only on my Discord friends list, and I couldn't send you a gift, and I wasn't gonna say a word about it at Christmas. So this is just, belated Christmas present, man.
Well, I really appreciate it. Again, you didn't have to do it. Now I'm
I
diving
know.
through the shop, figuring what I want to spend on, but we'll get there. I'll probably feature that in a video and give you some love in that again. But I'm glad
You
that
don't
this
have
was a
to, man.
well, I know. I'm glad that we were able to get together today to talk about this. It's important that these types of things are brought to the surface so that everyone can know about it, and so that hopefully we can see some changes. And I know that Blizzard loves the game and wants it to be the best possibly it can be. So hopefully they already have their plan in the works and we don't even know about it yet. But I guess time will tell. Thanks for coming through the
Yeah.
channel today, man.